The non-monthly expense calculator sheet is going to be the thing that you can use to help you figure out exactly how much you should be setting aside each month for expenses that are happening in the future. Now, I do have a section in this that's for recurring expenses that will show you not only how much you should start saving today to set aside for the next due date, but also if it's a recurring expense, how much to set aside starting the day after that bill is paid in order to save up that same amount for the next time that that due date comes to fruition. And I will show you an example of that in just a second. This is something that you can use for not just recurring bills, though, but you can also use it for things like vacation savings. You can use it to handle if you want to set aside money for holidays or gifts or anything like that. This helps you break it down without having to do all the math yourself. Now, I'm going to show you real quick how it works because there are a few things that you would probably need to know about it. So, we're going to use an example bill. We're going to just call it example. And the amount due, let's say it's going to be $98 and it's going to be due. Ignore that error, it will not show up on your sheet. We've got the amount that is due is going to be, you know what, let's say it's going to be 3/21/2022. So that's March 21st, 2022. The amount it's telling us to start saving today is going to be $19.60. And that will make it so that way if we save for right now it's November, so November, December, January, February, and then March. So that's 5 months worth of savings. It will be we save 1960 for 5 months. That will give us the full $98 that we need. Now, the thing that you want to keep in mind is that it's always going to count the current month and the month that it's due within those calculations. So if something is due next month, it's going to give you November and December to come up with that money. And so if something's due at the beginning of December, like December 1st, it's still going to count all of December and all of November when making those calculations. So just make sure that you keep that in mind when you're working on this. Now, let's just say that this is a recurring expense, though. If you click recurring, and then you can continue to go and fill out the rest of this information. So let's say it's happening every 2 months after that just to show you how it works. Every 2 months, it's going to be $49. If it's every 2 years, though, it's actually going to do the math for you. So that way, you know it's $98 every 2 years. You need to set aside $4.08 every single month in order to have the full $98 when the next time that bill comes due. And so this really helps kind of keep you on track when you're using your budget overview tab so that way you are setting aside the correct amount for things. Or if you want to go and make adjustments to it later, you can go and say, okay, well, what if I want to save, more than this 408? I know I need to bare minimum save the 408 that I have currently in my setup because that's what I put in. What happens if I want to take some money out of there? Now I need to go and I need to come up with a different amount or something like that. You can go in and make those changes here. Now, these will adjust as you go on because as the date changes, these will come in and automatically update based on whatever today's date is. So these numbers will shift just naturally. So I really just kind of use this as a quick calculating tool. I don't use it as a static um, thing to keep in mind. If you want to save this amount later, let's say you have an example budget, go back to your budget overview. Let's say your car maintenance was what the bill was due for. I usually just use this extra section next to you and I'll just type in 408. And then that reminds me, okay, once this bill comes due, once I've paid it, I can update it and just put 408 in there for the next time. And it's just something that's just small notes is what I like to put in these extra columns. And then that should help you figure out very quickly, very easily how much you should be saving both now and in the future for the different types of expenses that you have coming up.